guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Files. So today I am bringing you the story of the haunted Karsten Hotel. So a few things before we get into the Karsten Hotel itself. So this video I actually shot back in October of 2020, and I actually had gone on a haunted road trip with Visually Creep TV, Justin, and Eric from Exploring with Eric. So I'm sure you guys are all familiar with them. That was actually my very first time collabing with other content creators, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my channel, and so I wasn't sure. I knew I wanted to do something creepy, and I knew I wanted to do something in the form of like a documentary series, and I eventually just ended up merging the two, and that's what we see on my channel today. So again, back to the hotel. The Karsten Hotel was an old hotel that was built in like the 1850s in Kewanee, Wisconsin, and it's actually been on, I think, a couple of like big name channels such as like Travel Channel, I believe, and another, like, I think another really big I want to say like Ghost Adventures or something. Man, it wasn't Ghost Adventures, but one of those larger, you know, paranormal investigating groups went into the Karsten Hotel and did an investigation there, and so it's a pretty infamous hotel here in Wisconsin, and it was honestly a very creepy, it was a creepy, amazing experience. And again, this was like the first time I'd ever actually filmed, and so I wasn't very good at it, and so the footage is very sparse, but I have a ton of photographs to share with you, and plus, you know, on my channel I do a lot of history, and so there's a ton of historical background here. This place was used as like a temporary morgue in the basement of this hotel during the Spanish flu epidemic, and that's some crazy stories there. There was like, I think, a suicide, and there was also, I think, two other people, like a little boy who was only like 4 years old passed away. It was actually the grandson of the owner, William Karsten. And so yeah, a lot of tragedy, and then William Karsten himself passed away there. So tons of backstory to go to this hotel, and a lot of creepy stuff went down, and I'm super excited to share it with you. And we got a spirit box session, so I'm really excited to share that one with you guys. So yeah, let's get into it. I find hotels to be particularly spooky. And there's a line from the movie 1408 where John Cusack's character is detailing just how eerie a hotel room is, as he states, "Who was in this bed before you? Were they sick? Depressed? What illicit activities were conducted here before you?" I've always found those thoughts unsettling, and imagining the potential horrors that may have played out on the very bed you lie in, from adulterers, addicts, businessmen. They all come and go, leaving only the ghosts behind. Today we explore one of Wisconsin's most haunted hotels, the Karsten Hotel. The foundation was built in 1858, and even after a fire, the building remains strong. The Karsten has certainly seen its fair share of sadness, from the Spanish flu outbreak in 1918 to many unfortunate and even untimely deaths. So much tragedy. But let us go explore the Karsten Hotel. Okay, so the Karsten Hotel was first built in the 1850s, and it was originally the steamboat house, and it was a hotel to cater to the sailors in the area, because this hotel sits on Lake Michigan. It's absolutely gorgeous too. The views, oh my gosh, I wish I was the YouTuber I am now. Back then I would have really been into the shots and delivering a much higher quality video than what you're getting today, but I have tons of pictures. Anyways, back to our story. So it was the steamboat house, and this was a pretty profitable hotel, and it did make very good money. I mean, it was a very bustling area. Whoever owned the property after his passing ended up selling it to William Karsten in 1911. And William Karsten was a retired sea captain. He was already a wealthy man from, I guess, investing in the Pabst Brewing Company, and so this hotel was kind of a, I guess, as I read in doing my research, they called it a labor of love for him, and I think that was the best way to describe it, because William was a very sociable man. He was actually 375 pounds, but they said he was larger than life itself, metaphorically and real. And but it was a place to be, like your home away from home is what he wanted it to be. Unfortunately, the building would burn down, and he actually had it insured, and this is when he would kind of turn this place around and make it into this lavish, luxurious 3-story hotel that we are touring today. And so it's like 1912, right? Yeah, he's getting this property, he's rebuilding everything, and I think it's like $60,000 he gets from the insurance. And so he's able to make a really good return on his hotel and turn it into, he gets to do everything he wants to do with it. It's top of the line. It's got a ballroom, dining room, you know, this is where you want to stay when you're coming to Kewaunee, Wisconsin. So he loved, I guess it was also said that he just loved chatting with his guests, people coming in and out of the hotel. He loved sharing his stories with them, and I guess, you know, it really did contribute to his reputation. You know? Founded, though not officially, in 1836, Kewaunee, Wisconsin is a small port town in the northern half of Wisconsin. Sitting on the shores of Great Lake, Michigan, this town of less than 3,000 people holds a reputation of being beautifully quaint. At first glance, you are greeted with such charm and pleasantry that you'd hardly believe that this tiny harbor town is home to one of the most haunted hotels in the state. Nestled on the streets, sitting gorgeous in all its grandeur, the Karsten Hotel was first built in 1858 by a gentleman named Charles Brandis. It was then called the Steamboat House and served as a hotel for sailors as well as a multi-use facility, and it was even a courthouse until the early 1870s. This hotel would seem to change owners quite frequently, and this will become a common theme all the way up into present time. In 1864, an Edward Decker would purchase the property to in turn only sell it a mere 1 year later, and it would then be bought by John Erickson. He would call it the Erickson Hotel, and much like William Karsten, John was said to very much enjoy running the hotel up until his death in 1911. And then William Karsten Sr. would buy the place in November of that year. So when William Karsten would retire, his son, William Karsten Jr., would take over running the hotel for his father, and then his son was William Karsten III, known as Billy, so I will refer to him as Billy through the rest of this. So Billy was obviously William Karsten Sr.'s grandson, and it was said that it was his favorite grandson. Now, they were just thick as thieves, 2 peas in a pod. So unfortunately, Billy would end up contracting meningitis at age 5, and subsequently he would pass away from this. Billy's spirit is still in the hotel, clearly. He was 5 years old, and so he's there trying to fulfill a childhood he didn't even get to live out. So this hotel has quite the dark history. After Mr. Karsten bought the hotel, it burned down, but fortunately, William had it insured and received $60,000 for the damages. He rebuilt the hotel from the foundation up into the luxurious building it is today. William was already a wealthy retired businessman, and so it seemed he ran the place out of true passion. William Karsten was a larger-than-life person figuratively and realistically, reaching 6 feet tall and weighing in at 375 pounds. His weight never restricted him, though, and he was always seen socializing and interacting with his guests. When William Karsten Sr. retired from running the hotel, his son William Karsten Jr. would take the reins, and in doing so, Karsten Jr.'s son William Karsten III, affectionately called Billy, was a frequent visitor of the establishment. William Sr. and Billy were very close, and it is said that Billy was William's favorite grandchild. In 1928, William Karsten Sr. unfortunately lost his ever-beloved wife, Catherine, and this was said to have had a devastating effect on him. It was only Billy who could give him some semblance of happiness. In the 1940s, William Karsten Sr. would pass away due to complications of a heart attack in his suite, which would be rooms 205 and 210 today. And bizarrely, just a mere 3 weeks after William Karsten Sr. passed away, his grandson Billy would contract spinal meningitis and die at the age of 5. So right now, what I would like to do is share this short video clip that I took of the Spirit Box session that I did with Justin and Eric while we were filming in our hotel room. And now what we captured is what we believe to be the spirit of Billy Karsten. And just you guys listen to this and tell me what you all think.
Billy. Are you here? We want to speak to you. Did you hear that?
He said I'm here.
Dude.
It sounded like a kid.
I know.
Dude, wow.
That was solid, right? Dude, turn the fucking light on.
It's a kid.
I don't have my flashlight.
It's a kid.
Can you knock on our door?
Ready.
Came a long way to visit you. Do you want to tell me something?
I'm sure.
Where are you in this hotel? Are you in our room? The basement? The hallway?
The bathroom?
Or perhaps sitting in this bed with us?
What?
Jenny? I said Jenny?
Jenny did. Jenny?
Do you know Jenny?
Hi, Billy.
She wants to speak to you. Can you come through?
Come talk to me.
Can you give us a sign that you're here, perhaps by knocking on the door?
I hear knocking on the door. I'm shit on.
I am too.
Knock on the door for me, please.
That's happened here.
Mm-hmm. It has.
You want me to turn the light on? Billy, can you hear me? What do you want me to do? It's quiet.
It's quiet and getting cold.
We're not here to hurt you. We're here to communicate with you.
Oh!
Turn the light on, bro. Where's my phone?
So sorry.
My phone on me, bro.
Hold on, I got it. I'm coming. Quite the dark history. And on top of that, we also will come into talking about the maid, Agatha. Now, Agatha was employed with the hotel from like 1925 to like 1937, and we will get into her story in just a moment, but those are the three spirits that are said to haunt the Karsten, is William Karsten Sr., Billy, and Agatha the maid. William Karsten resided up in the suites 205 to 210 today, and then I think Agatha had room 310. And I cannot remember. If I do, I will add it in here, but I'm not sure. Billy also had a room that he also is said to haunt. And I actually was able to, my whole YouTube crew, we got to stay in the hotel room right under William Karsten Sr.'s room. And as Justin and I were like kind of unpacking the bags and just getting gear ready for the night, we hear like this really heavy walking. Look at each other going like, did you hear that? And we were like kind of like thrown back because we knew nobody was up in that room. And when we brought it up to the hotel owner, he tells us, he's like, yeah, William Karsten used to live in that room, and he was a really big guy. And like we said, these footsteps were so heavy, it was like shaking the place. And we were like, man, it's always when we're not set up. But boy, oh boy, we did get an amazing spirit box session in the room before we actually went out and started doing the, night investigating. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited I actually got that on film and I was able to share it. I'm able to share it with you guys because nobody else was filming, just me. But it's completely pitch black, and all you're gonna hear is the audio, but it's so good. Just trust me. It was amazing. So anyways, those are our three spirits that haunt the Karsten Hotel, and we're gonna get into Agatha's story now. The last ghost we're going to talk about is Agatha the maid. Agatha's entire life seems to have been one of much loneliness and heartache, and in the early 1920s as a young teen, she was savagely raped by a belligerently drunken neighbor that resulted in a pregnancy. Her parents would raise the baby as their own with their other several children, 7 to be exact. The family at this point was desperate for money, and Agatha sought employment at the Karsten Hotel and became a family member nearly herself. Now, it is said that Agatha would soon begin developing strong feelings for Mr. William Karsten Jr., but sadly, her feelings were not reciprocated, and it is believed to have left her feeling utterly scorned. She would never marry either, and rumors would surround her early death, such as she had hung herself in her room 310, because of her broken heart. This is false, however, and she actually quit the hotel in 1937 after having worked there since 1925. She would later develop cancer and die as a result of that vicious illness. It is said that Agatha's spirit is a rather malevolent when it comes to the males. She seems to get rather aggressive with either sex, though, as it is reported she has shoved men and women alike, as well as scratching, pulling blankets, pulling hair, etc., etc. She's also been seen as a full-bodied apparition. There's also an unknown male presence who pulls similar stunts on unsuspecting guests. Creepy stuff. And, you know, the thing about hotels that always has terrified me is just the idea of sleeping in a bed that somebody else slept in or in a room. And I even quote this in my narration about how in the movie 1408, which I love that movie, I love Stephen King, John Cusack's character, you know, he's like talking to his recorder and going about the room and discussing like his opinion on why he feels hotels are creepy, like who laid in that bed before you, you know, who got sick there, did they die, you know, it's just so many thoughts, and I, ever since I heard that line, I always think about that every time I'm in a hotel. Those thoughts come running through me, and then I'm mortified that I'm gonna get locked in my hotel room and then I'm gonna go insane into this like psychosis state of like being trapped in my hotel room or something. It's just like one of those phobias. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, so we're also going to talk a little bit about the morgue and the Spanish flu, so let's get into it.
Our last creepy tale from the haunted Karsten is the fact that during the brutal Spanish flu epidemic, the basement was used as a morgue. Death rates were so high, the local morgue had no space for any more deceased, and so the Karsten Hotel basement was transformed into a temporary makeshift morgue where over 80 bodies were said to be piled in. Let's be honest, some of those people may not have even been dead yet, but were expected to be soon and were laid next to the dozens of other decaying corpses as they slowly and painfully awaited their eternal slumber. With such a vicious and dark history, it is no wonder that this hotel is believed to be haunted. A real haunting story from a real haunted place. Thank you for watching.
Oh, that's pretty much the story of the Karsten Hotel, and also, let's get into some other stuff too really quick. As people were renovating through the years, this hotel has switched owners a lot. And I guess during like the 60s when these two brothers had purchased the hotel, they were renovating, and apparently this really infuriated the spirits because you're messing with their home. And this was like the first reported activity of, you know, spirits, and they think that probably opened up because they started that renovation. And even up into like the 80s and even the 90s, all these owners talk about their experience when renovating, how they seem to stir the pot and really anger the spirits there. You know, they don't like change. They wanna be in the hotel that they remember from their time, not from ours. And so that's why too they think that maybe Agatha messes with the stoves in retaliation for you changing her, you know, 1920s to 30s stoves. But yeah, so that's the story of the Karsten Hotel in Kewaunee, Wisconsin. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It is always a pleasure. I really, really enjoy doing these stories and sharing a lot of this history with you guys. I think history everywhere is just incredible, and I know it seems probably so mundane to most people, but man, there's history all around us, and I love finding stories just all around Wisconsin and just sharing them with you guys. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys again so much, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.